Here's some interesting looking mushrooms. These are bright orange and they've got smooth caps. And they're fruiting right out of these logs. It's pretty cool. I'm going to take you on a little journey looking for funguses. This is January 17th, 2024 in George Washington Park in Pacific Grove, California. And we've had a few rain events, enough to get the soil wet and the wood wet, and now the funguses are sprouting among us. So let's see if we can go find some cool stuff. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Try not to disturb anything, but I want you to see the red color of this one. And it's being nommed on by insects already. Look at that pretty guy. Nom nom. Nom nom. We're finding a bunch of fruiting bodies inside of the crooks of trees and things. There's not as many on these of the mushrooms I've been seeing on the north side of this park as I saw on the south side of this park. So I'm gonna see if we can find some diversity of mushrooms, because the south side of the park had a bunch of wood chips dropped of a couple of species of tree. And ooh, look at this. Look at these. These look almost like turkey tails. Look at those guys. Little shelf mushrooms going all along the edge of this piece of what looks like oak. Pretty cool. Nice fruiting of them. You know, and there's these piles of wood debris, and there's mushrooms sprouting off the wood debris. Who knows what they are, but somebody does, just not me. Ha! That's pine that it's sprouting off of. Let's see what we got here. Kind of wish there's a expert out here explaining all this stuff right now. And they're missing out. You can see that there's mycelium growing all up in this rotted log. That's all mycelial strands, mycelial hyphae. These have not gone to fruiting bodies. But if you turn stuff over, you can see it. We're trying not to disturb it too much because we don't want to disturb the growth of the mushrooms. We don't get a lot of these fruiting every year. But mycelial hyphae is always good to see. They'll turn into mushrooms one day. I mean, look at this guy. Look at this. This is fantastic. Looks like a geode. Look at that. I mean, if you can figure out what this mushroom is, you're awesome, because that looks exactly like a geode. I mean, look at that bad boy. This is an old pine tree that's rotting out, and this fungus is just going to town. And look at it, it's beautiful. It's got brown, white, and pink, and look at that go. It's pretty cool. That's a rare fungus for me to see. Never seen anything like that before. Damn it. Yeah, we're still going, okay. Look at this. Look at this fungal bloom. Look at these. These are shelf mushrooms popping. It looks like they're going to town. Look at that log just being eaten up, gobbled up. Anywhere that's close to contact with the ground, where there's a little bit of extra moisture, man, these things are just going off. But we are concerned about fruiting bodies. I want to find fruiting bodies, not just mycelium, not just the mycorrhizal fungi, not just the hyphae. I want the big boys. I want what it turns into. But it's always good to see the hyphae and the mycelium and it running along doing its job. I'm probably missing thousands of mushrooms right now because I'm looking for big things, not small things. But I want to show you unique and interesting funguses. See if we can get anybody out there in the universe to identify them. Look at this little, what looks like a shelf fungus popping out. And again, this is pine. Look how fuzzy that is. It's pretty cool. And here it is a little bit more. Ooh, that's poison oak I'm touching. I'm gonna have to go wash my hands. I'm highly allergic to poison oak, so that's not good for me. You see all this wood chip is all new. And on the south side of the park, I saw a lot of mushrooms popping out of the wood chips, but this might be so fresh that funguses may not have taken over yet. They may not have run through all this wood chip mass. Ooh, look at these guys. There you go. This is what we're finding. This is what we're finding on the south side of the park. Again, we're in George Washington Park in Pacific Grove, California on January 17th, 2024. Just checking it out. We're just looking for strange and unusual funguses. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, that's pretty. I would have missed him. If I'd been in a car driving around today, I never would have saw this mushroom or his cousin over here. Look at these guys go. Pretty, pretty mushrooms. Bright red. Nice. There's more of them over here. Look at these guys go. Pretty cool. Keep looking. Watch cars drive by all day long and they can't see all the fruiting bodies. They're not going slow enough. There's a lot of this fungus in this park right now. This fungus is pretty dominant. It's kind of the same color on top as it is on the bottom. Its gills are roughly the same color as the top of the mushroom. So that's interesting. Again, I'm not... Oh, look at these shelf funguses. These guys are old. These don't look like they're alive anymore. These look like they've done their job. They're rotting out. These look like they might be alive a little bit of brand new growth on the tips. Oh, look at this. This is pretty fresh. That's a pretty fresh fruiting of this mushroom. Looks like the same shelf fungus growing out of the pine tree. Pretty cool. really good rotted stumps, but any fungus that's in here is probably internal. Definitely not on the tree itself. Who knows? Maybe it's a nutrition thing or not enough water. Maybe the funguses aren't looking for that material right now. Stuff's all rotted down pretty good. May have been funguses on those in the past. I mean, there's funguses everywhere, so the spores of funguses float among us. You know, deep in there, there's some mycelium, but no fruiting bodies. Nice tree fall. This is much more recent. It's been cut recently in the last year or so. Hasn't grayed out yet and turned gray, and we have a lot of pine trees fall every winter. Sometimes we have eucalyptuses fall. Luckily, they don't really fall on people or houses. Somehow that we escape that problem dominantly, or I should say most of the time. Sometimes houses do succumb to a tree. I've seen a couple of those incidences, but they're not very often, is what I'm saying. Yeah, interesting. Well, it's interesting to me. Maybe not to you. Ooh, look at these. These look like little jelly funguses. Look at those guys go. Those look like little jelly funguses or some type of advanced slime. Look how pretty they are. In my color spectrum, they're bright orange. On the screen, they look a little bit more on the yellow side, but to me, those are bright orange. And they're kind of everywhere on this tree. So that's cool. I'll look those up. Wonder if those fall into the witch's butter classification. Again, I'm not a mycologist. I just think they're interesting. I'm surprised that more people aren't documenting the mushrooms through videos yet. We have a great diversity of mushrooms, and there's a mycologist out there somewhere that just wishes he could be here right now looking at the mushrooms I'm seeing. I'm pretty sure of it. But that mycologist is not next to me, so we're going to keep looking. Look at this little dude, been ravaged by insects already. Look at that guy go. Oh. Just totally ravaged by insects. Now it looks like people are kicking these over and knocking them down. So somebody may know something about these mushrooms that I don't know. But somebody's definitely going around disturbing that particular mushroom a lot. I see them knocked over quite a bit. And I don't think that's just by animals. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What do we got here? What do we got here? What is this? Look at this guy's growing out of the stump. That's log. Look at that guy go. How pretty and round. I think this is the same fungus that we're seeing throughout the park. It looks pretty similar to the other ones I've seen. Again, I'm no mycologist, but they look very similar. You know, they're kind of everywhere this time of year. And I'm not here to disturb them. I'm just here to look at them. And if somebody else thinks that they're interesting, they know where to find them. Look at that guy go, how pretty. I'm not messing with these mushrooms. Big mushrooms. Just to give you an example of how big that mushroom is. It's like the size of the palm of my hand. And that one is kind of everywhere. This one's repeating itself a lot. So that's interesting. They're kind of everywhere. I mean, look at this. There's another one. This one's much newer. This is what they look like when they're basically fresh. Let's see if I can scooch some of the debris off of it. Okay. Look how red that is. This is before the insects get to it. Very pretty mushroom. Again, I'm not touching them, but who knows? Who knows what they are? I surely don't. Just trying to scrape the debris off them so you can see them. And they're just everywhere. Pretty cool. I'm not seeing the diversity of mushrooms I'd like to see, but I am seeing a diversity of mushrooms, which is nice to see. So I thought I'd see a huge variety of mushrooms. I've seen about 6 different mushrooms, maybe 8 so far. And like I said, I gotta be careful because there's a bunch of poison oak in this zone. Look at this guy. There you go. There's an unusual fungus. Look at that guy go. You can see the fresh growth on the outer ring. This mushroom's been here a while. You know, this is probably the original mushroom. This is the secondary mushroom. There's the spores being dispersed underneath it. This is off of a pine tree that's decaying. That's a really cool fungus. And you can see this is all brand new growth. Again, I'm not going to disturb it. There's its cousin right there. There's its cousin. It's just hanging out, doing its job. That's a really fresh mushroom. No idea what these mushrooms are. Again, wish I did. But it's cool to see them out here, you know. These are just ground. These are mushrooms on the ground or sprouting out of fallen logs predominantly. I'm not looking at the trees themselves to see if there's any funguses in the trees. But if I did look, I'm sure I'd find some. Been a lot of rain recently. We're definitely in rainfall over evaporation. And the mushrooms know it. And they're using it to their advantage. And like I said, they're everywhere. These red ones are popping up everywhere. And who knows, this is a really, really pretty one. This one's super fresh. Look how pretty that is. Again, I'm trying not to disturb it. I just want to get the debris off it so you can see it. You know? This little cousin right there. Somebody's disturbed this one so I can look at it. You can see that these are the gill structures. To you, this looks white. To me, this looks kind of yellowish. So, camera's not doing it exactly any justice, but you can check out the striation pattern on the gills and how it forks. And the core of the stem is not exactly hollow. It's pretty solid. Here's some interesting funguses popping out of here. Oh wow, those are mighty neat. Never seen that before. Look at that go. Unknown fungus. Pretty cool. Kicking it out of a piece of burl. Looks like pine burl. You can see how thick the stem is on these guys. I mean, the stem is massive on these little red mushrooms. That's a big, thick stem. I mean, that's almost 2/3 of the value of the cap. That's pretty cool. Poison oak everywhere. Gotta watch my step. I'm allergic to that stuff. Don't want the poison oak. Look at that. Red ones everywhere. Look how big this guy is. Again, here's an example of how large these are. It's about the size of the palm of my hand without the fingers. So it'd be like a fist. Ooh, look at this fruiting. This is crazyville. This is the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. Look at this go. What was that? Oh my gosh. Somebody didn't like this mushroom. They knocked it all down. This is a huge mushroom. That's a big mushroom. Look at that. Somebody went out of their way to knock it off this tree. Look at it fruiting up there. Oh, wow. Look at that go. That is so cool. You can't see it. You just can't see it. I'm telling you, this is a really big mushroom. That mushroom right there, probably a foot in diameter. See if we can get a close up on it. Oh man, I couldn't get to that one if I tried. Look how big that boy is. That is huge. It's a massive mushroom. This is what I'm looking for. The random, weird, massive mushroom that nobody ever even know it was there if you didn't knock it off the actual tree. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. Glad to see mushrooms like that. Pretty cool. I mean, that's exciting. That one's a easy foot in diameter. Easy. Look at these little guys. I mean, they're just everywhere. This is the mushroom that we're seeing predominantly. Oh, whoa. This is not it. Okay, check this out. This is not the mushroom I'm talking about. I just think that's cool. This is a piece of oak. It's growing out of the bark. That's pretty cool. This mushroom is the one that we're seeing predominantly throughout the little brown mushrooms. Don't know what they are. We got some white ones over here. You know, look at these guys go. You can see the striations in the caps. It's almost like they're invisible. You can see right through the cap. All yellow mushrooms, purples, browns, reds, all kinds of crazy colors today. Glad I came out and looked at mushrooms. And look at this little dude. There's some mycologists out there crying right now. I wish I could be there. You can. If you're a mycologist, you should be in the forest today. Maybe you plan it for next year. This time around next year. I got all these flags out here, and who knows why the flags are there. Somebody's studying something. But nobody's talking about it. These mushrooms are kind of everywhere. We're in this sector. And look at this. This fruiting vine. And again, this is that same mushroom that was on the tree a while ago, and somebody has definitely gone through and stomped on this guy on purpose. You know, this is destroyed by a human. Look how big those gills are. I mean, this is humans being destructive to a fungus. This is not the fungus's fault. The fungus didn't just suddenly break itself, you know. Look at that. Who knows what these are? Been eaten by the bugs. This is a pretty fungus. Ooh, I mean, this it's got its little mutations on it all over across. This one does too. See the little bumps? These little bumps. I'll go look these up in my Audubon field guide, but I ain't messing with them. Who knows what they are, you know? But they're doing their job for sure. Pretty cool. I know this is a long video and it's not what you're looking for, but if you know your funguses, you know what time of year they pop. This is January 17th, 2024, and we're getting a huge fruiting of funguses out here in the park. And I mean, just huge. They're everywhere. These are cool. These look different. Look at this guy. Look at that guy go. Man, this is just a huge fruiting of funguses. These look like they're slightly different than the ones around them. So take a closer shot of those. This definitely looks slightly different than the other ones, which are much more solid in color. Pretty cool. And these are everywhere. It's almost kind of ridiculous to see how many mushrooms are fruiting right now. You don't see mushrooms for sometimes months, sometimes years, and suddenly they pop like this. It's like just crazyville, the number of mushrooms that are out here, you know. I think it's fascinating, personally. Look at these nice little shelf funguses right here. Look at that go. Doesn't look exactly like turkey tail, but man, it's close. I don't know if you can get a good visual on that. Definitely in the tan range. Slightly purple on the edges. The leading edges of growth is purple. However, we're wandering along our log, and you just seeing these popping along the log everywhere. This log didn't do anything for years. No action. Now it's starting to pop some mushrooms. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's very possible that these are turkey tail, but I don't know. These are very green. Green in color. Very mossy. There's some bigger versions of the fruiting bodies. There you go. How pretty is that, huh? Again, the leading edge is slightly on the purple scale. This one over here is pretty good. You can see it. It's kind of purplish. I thought that's interesting. Here's the fresh orange and yellow mycelium popping out. That's new stuff. This is new growth coming out of the tree. And slugs are eating on it. And see how purple this stuff is? Very purplish. Pretty cool. You can see a bunch of shelf funguses here again. It's very similar. Probably the same style of mushroom or fungus. These might not be, they may not look like this when it's really dry. That's why I might be missing them. They don't have any real color to them when they're desiccated in the hot summer sun. But man, those are alive. Even if they're green, they're still popping a little bit. The leading edge is kind of orangish on these. Pretty cool. Looking around at these parks for funguses for a few months, and I didn't see anything, and it wasn't obvious. Now that it's rained, they're making themselves very obvious. That's pretty cool. Let's see if we get any others before you go. I just want one more and then I'll shut this video down. One more big one, that's all I'm looking for. Wander through the grasses on the field and see if there's any popping out here in the actual field. Sometimes there are. It doesn't look like it today. Nothing really obvious. A few months ago, there was mushrooms popping all over this place, all over this field, that is. Not today. Pretty cool. not much over here. It's, for all the wood chip debris and wood chip material, there's not a lot of fungus over here. I think that's kind of interesting in and of itself, that they're missing stuff. I mean, this place is sheltered from the sun a lot, and you can see all the mosses growing. And you'd think the mycelium would think that was pretty neat and good stuff, but apparently they haven't. They don't like it right here, not as much as they liked it over near the open fields. Just one more big mushroom. That's all I'm looking for. Just one more big one. I like the idea of seeing the big, interesting looking mushrooms. They may not be the most interesting mushroom available, but I like their visuals. That one that was in the tree, that was awesome. I like that a lot. Hope some more mushroom hunters come out and take videos of mushrooms and post them out there. I'd like to see what they find. I hope you found the stuff that I found interesting. I know I did. Like I said, I'm just looking for ground mushrooms, stuff on the ground. Not actually looking in the trees too much. That one that was in the tree was an anomaly, but I really liked it. I thought that was really neat. And see where there's some erosion going on here. These are erosion gullies from the park. So the park is there, nice sort of level. You can see the water's running down this way. It's getting caught up in this corner. It's coming out. It's flooding out here. And they have no way to stop the flooding. So they put wood chip down, but it's just cutting erosion gullies through the wood chips. That's how much water came down in the last couple rain events. So we're gonna look down here, see if we can get to any other mushrooms. Should be a lot of moisture down here. This level's off pretty good, and there's some houses and road nearby, so plenty of debris for mushrooms to grow, but I'm not seeing anything. Nothing significant yet. And this is a fresh pile of mulched material. It's an old tree that got chewed up, spit out. And one of the things the foresters don't really know about, or if they do know about, they're ignoring it, so that they don't sanitize or sterilize their machines. So every time they mulch a tree, if there's any fungus in that tree that they're mulching, it gets spread, and then they keep doing that. And spores are pretty small, and fungal hyphae are pretty small. And the machines that are chopping up that material are pretty big, and the teeth are pretty big. And there's no real way to economically sanitize or sterilize the machinery, so they're just going to keep spreading the funguses, whether they want them or not. It went from 1 million to none. When you want that last mushroom to cancel the video, there's nothing to be seen. Oh, here we go. Here's my last mushroom of the day. Look at this guy. Woohoo! Look at this guy go. This looks like some more of the same mushroom. just the large version of it. You can see the gill structure there. Here's the fruiting bodies. These are all past spoilation. These are all done. Here you go. Mushrooms are among us. The fungus is among us.